Abaconians next on the list for the rollout of the AstraZeneca vaccine. The health minister suggesting no further restrictions to be implemented as 15,000 persons have been vaccinated so far, and police warning on fake COVID-19 tests. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lissy Bastian with your Jcn News. It's Tuesday, April 13th. It's good having you with us. Abaco and the Abaco Keys poised for the rollout of the AstraZeneca vaccine there. The administration of the COVID-19 vaccine will take place from Thursday, April 15th to Monday, April 19th. The National COVID-19 Vaccine Consultative Committee making that announcement today, with residents from the following priority groups eligible to receive the vaccine: healthcare workers, persons 50 years of age and older, uniformed branches, RBDF, RBPF, COVID ambassadors, customs and immigration, teachers and staff of schools, and hospitality workers. Now, Health Minister Renwood Wells this morning ahead of today's weekly cabinet meeting told reporters that the delay on Abaco was not due to challenges presented by Hurricane Dorian, which pummeled through Abaco back in 2019.
We are always concerned about the security situation for the vaccine. That is why the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, as you would all know, this is the guards, the security for our EPI site, for the vaccine site. They also collect the vaccine when it comes to the airport. They take the vaccines to the various sites. And so we're just making sure that the security logistics is in place for each island.
Vaccinations will take place on the 15th at the Foxtown Clinic from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Cooperstown Clinic from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., and Green Turtle Key Clinic 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. On Friday, April 16th, the Marsh Harbor Clinic will open from 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. On Saturday, April 17th, the Guana Key All-Age School will open from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. to facilitate vaccinations. The Man-O-War Key Clinic from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and the Hopetown Clinic from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. On Sunday, April 18th, the Sandy Point Clinic will open from 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And on Monday, April 19th, the Moores Island Clinic will open 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. and Marsh Harbor Clinic from 4 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Meantime, despite COVID-19 numbers fluctuating and concerns of the possibility of a third wave of the virus in the country, Health Minister Renwood Wells, in giving an update, suggests there is no foreseeable change in COVID-19 protocols. According to the minister, some 15,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine have already been administered across the country. Here's Laurencia Smith with more.
Right now, I don't foresee any more measures in regards to the health protocols than what we have in place, because we see a spike one day with about 40 cases, then we see it down in the teens, then we see it in the 20s, then we see it in the teens, and that might be due to a particular event, because you know this virus has a 14-day incubation cycle.
In a recent Ministry of Health press conference, health officials disclosed that in March, there was an uptick in cases compared to how figures stacked up in January and February. And over the last several days, COVID-19 numbers have fluctuated, with the highest being 53 cases this past Friday. Now, some have expressed concern that the country may be heading towards a third wave of the virus. Asked what health officials are doing outside of monitoring numbers to prevent a third wave, Minister Wells says this.
Well, we do have a very aggressive surveillance unit that is following up on the cases, the contacts, giving the advice to persons that they should quarantine if they've been in contact with an individual. We're testing folks who are symptomatic. And so we're doing all of the things that we did in the Ministry of Health to get our hands around our second wave, to ensure that the country does not enter a third wave.
On the other hand, Family Islanders have expressed outrage about the high cost of COVID-19 testing. As noted in the emergency powers orders, inter-island travelers require an RT-PCR COVID-19 test.
What we do not want is circumstances in the Family Islands where we end up with a large outbreak and we're not able to transport those individuals from that island to New Providence. we all know the transportation problems that we have. Sometimes we have the overweight issue of having to try and move someone and not have the pod sizes, and we're now looking to source the much larger pods from other parts of the globe. And also the quantum, the amount of persons who may end up having to be transferred into New Providence if New Providence is experiencing a spike and there are no bed space. So we're seeking to ensure that this virus does not spread in the Family Islands where it poses greater challenges for us.
The minister once again reiterated that the public should follow all COVID-19 guidelines. I'm Laurentia Smith with your JCN News.
Meantime, the Public Hospitals Authority and the Grand Bahama Health Services advising that the second round of the COVID-19 vaccine administration will resume on the island tomorrow, April 14th. Appointments for this week will be available Wednesday, April 14th through Friday, April 16th at the Susan J. Wallace Center between the hours of 8 a.m. and noon, and then again at 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Vaccine administration will be conducted on Saturday, April 17th at the 8 Mile Rock Clinic between 8 a.m. to noon and 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. with only residents of 8 Mile Rock and West End communities eligible for inoculation at this location. Persons seeking to receive the vaccine must register to obtain an appointment using the official registration site vax.gov.bs. Vaccinations will only be given to persons registered for an appointment. Persons without internet access or needing assistance with registration may contact their local church or local government office. Healthcare workers, persons 50 years of age and older, the uniform branches, teachers and staff of schools, hospitality workers, that's hotel and resort employees, public transportation workers, Grand Bahama International Airport staff, shipyard, industrial companies, and port authority staff, cruise port, straw market, port and beach vendors, and tour operators, restaurant and retail workers, along with students and athletes studying or competing abroad, coaches and other support personnel, members of the clergy and accredited media editors, reporters, anchors, photographers, and videographers are eligible. The public is encouraged to closely follow all advisories and announcements from the Ministry of Public Health and Public Hospitals Authority for information about COVID-19 vaccinations. Police warning against the use of fraudulent COVID-19 tests. In a press release, Chief Superintendent of Police Matthew Edgecombe noting that in recent weeks, it has come to the attention of the RBPF that a growing number of Bahamians are seeking to carry out COVID-19 testing through unofficial means. In the last week, several people have been brought to the courts and charged. The RBPF is warning Bahamians against obtaining fake COVID-19 tests. Commissioner of Police Paul Roll and his team are advising citizens, residents, and visitors to go through the correct procedures when obtaining such documentation for travel or otherwise. They urge the public to take this warning seriously to avoid prosecution and to help keep communities healthy. Earlier this month, 7 people were fined by Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt for using fraudulent COVID-19 tests to travel to 4 different family islands between March 25th and March 31st, and another 9 people, including a 17-year-old girl, on Tuesday, March 30th. Currently, an individual convicted of using a falsified COVID-19 test will face a fine of up to $2,000 and/or 2 years in prison. You're watching JCN News. When we return, House Speaker Housen Moultrie receives those updates demanded from the parliamentary registration, the country recording another homicide, and 11 Haitian migrants arraigned in magistrates' court. Stay with us.